Good morning. My name is Tracy Champagne, and welcome to the Connect Show. This is our brand new experience to help small business owners thrive. We're excited to bring you this show every week on Tuesdays at 10 a.m.
To start, what's great about your day? I'd like to hear from everybody in the chat. If you could put something that's happened to you this last week, this last month, that's been wonderful, that's been fantastic, that you can share with the rest of the group. Let's talk about the Connect Show. Every week, this is a new experience that we're offering where we want to engage all of you and bring you a new type of networking and business growth development. This is a live show. It's best to join us on Zoom where you can participate in the giveaways and take part in the questions and answer section, as well as networking. So, Tracy, who do we have coming up for today?
Today we have our two wonderful guests. We have first Eleanor. Beaton is the owner of Safi Media, an education and coaching company for women and entrepreneurs. And Matt Fox, who also helps small business owners make the right decisions to take their business to the next level.
And of course, Kim will be giving a networking report. And please like and subscribe. And if you're listening to this on podcasts or YouTubes or the Facebooks. And if you'd like to reach out to us, we'd love to hear your suggestions or ideas. We can get experts to answer your specific questions. And you can reach us at the email below. That's ideas@theconnectshow.com.
We would like to thank our sponsors for making this happen. Serendipity, co-working, and flexible office spaces were created to help you access professional workspaces with the flexibility your business needs today. All supported by on-site hospitality teams. And with over 40 locations across the country, there is a Serendipity lab near you.
There is.
And they have amazing coffee, I hear.
The coffee is great.
And
the water is great. Yeah, they got a lot of stuff, good stuff going on. So it's wonderful. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, we have a special link. And if you're an expert in mindset, mastering social media, accelerating your company, or financing, handling money, and sales or marketing, please contact us. There's a link below that says connectshow.com/be our guest. And one day we will have that song to make Tracy's day.
I did find it, so we're going to have it someday.
Yes.
If you are new to the Connect experience, each month we have a new business topic. This month we're talking about mindset. Next month, we're going to talk about mastering social media. And in November, we will be talking about acceleration. Yeah. Fast tracking your business before the end of the year.
And we want to give you a roadmap from being stuck, getting started, to really taking your business to that next level. And our guest today, who's going to join us in just a couple of minutes, is going to really give us some great insight on what we should be focusing on, because I bet you a lot of us, including myself, are focusing on the wrong things. So there's replays of the Connect Show on podcasts, and everything else in the entire world where you can get the full show or segments. Feel free to share these on social media and help us grow our community. And me and Xander are playing tag. All right, you're it.
An important part of our growth is keeping connected to one another. So please put your contact information in the chat so we can help each other thrive. That means like your email, maybe your LinkedIn account. Put your contact info in the chat so we can all get connected.
Yeah, let's connect. The power of a network is the square of the number of people in the network, and that's from Seth Godin. And I would love to talk a little bit more about Seth Godin, and I think we're going to, aren't we? So we asked everybody else what's great about their day. Tracy, what has been great about your week, your weekend, the last month? What's going on?
Well, what's been great about my day is that I had a great networking experience this morning with the Breakfast Club. And I was able to find Sandra, who's been helping out with some of our makeup stuff. You can see how fabulous I look today. Mm-hmm. And so we'll learn more about her. But over the weekend, I had a great girls' weekend with my family, which was awesome.
Did you do a little mani-pedi?
We did not
do
mani-pedis. Nope.
Just straight to the bar?
We didn't go to any bars.
Okay, so this was like a legit...
We did a lot of shopping. I
Okay.
got some great new shirts and some outfits. We did go to the cheese factory, you know, because we were up in the northern area. So
Up north?
did the like kind of like we went into Michigan actually. Went to a really nice restaurant in Michigan, and we just caught up. We got to spend some time, get to know each other a little bit better. It was great. I'm sure my mom just was thrilled about it. Loved it.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful.
Yeah. How about you?
Well, I'm a huge sports fan, and in Wisconsin, this was sports weekend. We had the Ryder Cup going on. The Brewers made the NL Central champion, which I almost was in tears as I watched that ceremony and the ticker tape come on. It wasn't some big surprise if you're not a baseball fan. It was kind of inevitable. It was just a matter of when, but it still means a lot because, the Brewers have a chance. And, we have to be Packer fans because we live here until Rogers leaves and Aaron Loves comes on. So we'll go from there. But what did some of the other people share in the chat about what happened great this week?
I'm not seeing anybody having posted anything.
So no one had a great week?
They're still on their introduction part.
Oh, yeah, they're still on the intro part. So in our next section, we're going to talk about vitamins for the soul.
Vitamins for the Soul is a new segment where we share good habits and tools to help you on your journey.
And, good habits are the key to success. People talk about the hacks and the tricks and everything else, but really, if you can do something consistently, even if it's a small thing, that's really going to move your business forward. And so each week in Vitamins for the Soul, we're going to give you tools and strategies on different things that we're finding throughout our journey. So
you read the Seth, I always want to say Godin. Is it
It's Godin.
Oh, is it Godin? Okay,
it is Godin.
I got it right this time.
I did, and I have one for you.
Oh,
that was an
nice.
Ungraceful giving.
And you got through this whole book? It's not that big of a book, actually.
It is.
You could get through this.
It's 265 pages.
I know, but it's not tall, so there's less words. But
short books are cool too.
Yeah.
Don't height shame the book. But this is a great book. So in the beginning, he talks about what marketing was. And, marketing used to be all those things that we used to see on TV a long time ago. And now you can target anybody. So you can specifically geofence and geo-target people and use different types of marketing in those ways. But one thing that I love about Seth Godin is that he always talks about, if you're going to make something, are you better than the silence? Is what you're bringing to social media better than not saying anything at all? Are you an intrusion, or do people really want to hear what you have to say? And his first rule of marketing is make something worth buying. He has a famous story about a hole. People go to buy a 1/4-inch drill bit to make a hole in the wall, but really they're making a hole in the wall so they can put an anchor in the wall, so they can put the shelf up, so they get that satisfaction of I accomplished something, and their partner feels like they, are a worthy mate because they're able to hang shelves, right? So he talks about the deeper why. And the second rule is you can't satisfy everyone. Make something really specific. In the Ironman Challenge, it's a great example because you pay an extraordinary amount of money to be in the Ironman Challenge, and you're going to lose. There's only one winner, and there's a whole bunch of people in it, but everybody wants to do it because you want to finish. You want to be a part of, that's your tribe, that's your group. If you go to a Star Trek convention, those people are really specific. And so he has some really great examples of, how you can be really specific to one person instead of trying to shout to everyone. And the third rule is create, connect, and build tribes, and create stories that resonate with that tribe. And also make sure that you're telling that story in their language. So find out, if you don't know how your tribe talks, listen more so that you can speak the same language, and they will tell you.
Yeah, that's pretty important. You got to speak you have Because if you're talking to somebody about something you have a lot of passion about, but they have no idea, like they've never even heard about it or care about it,
Yeah.
it'll go right over their head and it'll be missed.
Right. And I see that a lot, especially with coaches. I say, so you're a coach, what do you do? And they say, well, I do this thing. And then they go into the core and the strategy.
And then everybody just
and this
tunes
emotional
out
intelligence.
2 seconds
and
later.
I listen to Judith Glaser and like all this stuff. And I'm just like, whoa. And really what they do is they make you a better person in this specific area, or they guide you through this specific task. So really, getting into that language and speaking of words that they will understand.
And I like the part where you said that you just target a specific audience. You're not going after everybody. You're trying to fit the need for a specific audience and finding that audience.
There's a sign going on the wall in the studio next week, and it says, do less better. And that's my motto for the year, because I used to do a lot of services for a lot of people, and now we create shows. That's the only thing that we do. And all of my energy and all of our time is spent on doing that one specific thing. And there's not a whole lot of people in the world who need this, but
you're going to get dang good at it.
Yes.
And conquer the field of show making.
Right. And another great point that he made was Daimler-Benz invented the car when it was illegal to drive. He had to get permission from the king. And Gutenberg invented the printing press when no one could read. And it was illegal to print things. So you don't have to wait for permission for the world to say that it's okay to make this.
You have to create it.
You can be an innovator.
Have them, and then have it happen.
Yep, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Oh, so you're gonna,
Yep, so we're gonna give away this book, right?
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna do a new giveaway this time. This time, we're going to enter the giveaway, we'd like you all to take a screenshot of your Zoom screen and then create a post and tag everybody that you'd like to have see it, and make sure you use the hashtag the Connect Show so we can find you. You could tag John Taylor, you could tag myself, Tracy Champagne, and then that's your entry. So we will look for those and we will announce the winner next week.
That's pretty cool. I love this. I was at Grand Connections last week, and they did a similar method. And so I want to give Grand Connections all the credit, and hopefully in the coming weeks, Kim will go to a Grand Connections and then tell everybody about it, because that's really great.
Awesome.
So I love this new contest. It's a great way. And next week we're going to announce that winner. And first we're going to go to commercial, and then we're going to bring in Eleanor.
Awesome. Oh, I was right.
You were right. You were right.
Safi Media. Okay, so Safi Media is committed to advancing global gender equity from one woman-owned business at a time. Together with her colleagues, Eleanor is on a mission to double the number of women entrepreneurs who scale past 1 million in revenue by 2030.
Sorry, I switched too early. Eleanor hosts the Power, Presence, and Position podcast, a top-ranked podcast for female founders with over 1.5 million downloads to date. The former chair of the Visiting Women's Executive Exchange Program, that's a mouthful, at Yale School of Management, a Yaley, Eleanor has been featured in publications including The Globe and Mail, The Atlantic, CBC, Chatelaine, and more.
Very good.
We talked about that. So welcome, Eleanor. It is so great to have you here, and thank you for your patience.
So,
Thank
Eleanor,
you. I'm delighted to be here.
where are you located at?
I'm in the college town of Wolfville, Nova Scotia, in eastern Canada, just above Maine, actually.
So can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm a founder, really passionate about women-owned businesses. I came to my path as an entrepreneur in a little bit of a different way. I actually started out as a journalist. So, as a reporter, I sort of gravitated toward business. I started covering fast growing companies. I did hundreds and hundreds of interviews with CEOs and founders of fast growing companies. So, people like Barbara Corcoran, people like Robert Herjavec, of course, from Shark's Tank, and learned so much about how those founders and entrepreneurs thought about growth, how they thought about sales and marketing, how they thought about building teams. And so I started to kind of apply that in my own business. And I realized that there was just this tremendous hunger from female founders in particular to sort of work on those principles in their own businesses in their own way. And that's really where Safi Media was born. So we're all about, advancing female founders and women entrepreneurs through storytelling, through entrepreneurship education, and also through business coaching.
Awesome. That sounds exciting for me because I'm a female. So you talk about getting caught, yeah. You talk about getting caught up in the delivery trap, trading dollars for hours. Can you tell us more about that?
So, I mean, I've personally experienced this firsthand. I presume a lot of the people on the show have probably experienced this too. So many business owners, we start our businesses because we're really good at delivering a specific service. In one of my first businesses, I was a communications consultant. In this business, I was a coach. So I had these technical skills and I was good at coaching, or prior to that, good at doing communications consulting. And that's what I was paid to do. And so I was really sort of self-employed, exchanging money for services rendered type of thing. And that worked great for a certain amount of time. And then ultimately, what I found is that I was starting to get a little bit burnt out. I would sort of market and sell, land a couple of contracts or a couple of clients, and then all of a sudden, my calendar was booked serving those clients and doing the delivery work. The contracts would complete, and then I was back on the hamster wheel again, marketing and selling. And so this was really tiring for me at the time. My two sons, they're now 11 and 15. They were a lot younger. They required a lot more time and attention and care, just being very hands-on. And I didn't know how to get out of it. And so I saw that other entrepreneurs were stuck in this delivery trap as well. So, one of the things that I started to look at is how business owners get out of that trap. I started looking at what are SaaS founders doing? What are entrepreneurs who have non service based businesses doing? And what I saw time and again is that they were investing in assets, they were creating assets. And that their businesses were growing through their assets rather than through their labor. And so that's ultimately where I really started to focus my attention, not only in my business, but also in the work that I do with founders.
So I read about one of your posts on your website, and it talks about the $10, the $100, and or $10, $1,000, $10,000 focus. And we're talking about the delivery trap and trading dollars for hours. Maybe we can go into that from there.
I'd be happy to. So let's think about, an HR consultant. So you're running an HR consulting business. It's you. Maybe you have a virtual assistant who is helping you with certain tasks in your company, but you're there, and you're it. You're the business. So if you think about the delivery of the HR consulting, maybe that is a $500 per hour task, right? So if you think about like outsourcing or what your clients are paying you, maybe at best, they're paying you $500 an hour. Very highly paid HR consultant, right? So that's a $500 an hour task. But when we start to think about, again, that consultant is going to quickly get stuck in the delivery trap, where he or she or they are trading dollars for hours. And it can create a great lifestyle. But what happens if you want to go on vacation? What happens if you have an aging parent and they require some care? all of a sudden your income stream stops. So this is where it's so critical for entrepreneurs to understand that it's really critical that they are looking at their time and they're thinking about and aware of the types of tasks that are most valuable to help them drive revenue, help them drive the company forward. So I'll give you an example. That HR consultant probably has a very specific methodology that they use. They probably have a very specific way that they onboard clients, that they understand the client's needs, that they put together the correct consulting package, and that they deliver it. So for that entrepreneur, they're getting paid to deliver that work at $500 an hour. What happens if they take 1 week and they design a process carefully that HR consulting can then be delivered by somebody else? So the work itself is valued at maybe $500 an hour tops. The delivery of the system, the design of the process, that is a task that I would value at $10,000 an hour, because what it means is that now you could hire people to replace you and you can then focus on other $10,000 an hour tasks. My view is that if every entrepreneur spent an hour a week, just even an hour a week doing $10,000 tasks, that could really have the potential to transform their business, to help them buy their time back, and ultimately help service-based entrepreneurs create a company that scales without them, that gives them a ton of freedom and autonomy, and of course, cash.
That is such a great point. Rory Barden uses a term that's been popular lately that says, when you automate or scale, it is compound interest for your time. And he actually has a formula where he says, if you put in 15 minutes for every 1 minute of a task, so you talked about, your scale was 500 to 10,000, so it's a 20 times scale. The same thing, if you're charging 1 hour, put 15 or 20 times hours into making a system of that. That's the value of it, because he broke it down over the course of a year. If you do that and then you scale and you have the system, it pays for itself in 3 to 6 months, and then it just turns into profit.
Exactly. Exactly. And there's so many different ways to do this. So, we certainly see an explosion in online programs and ed tech and group coaching programs, online courses, group education, that kind of thing. So that's one way. There's been an explosion in that industry, but it's not the only way. Companies scale through the development of systems that empower employees to do what you do. And sometimes much better, which is always
Yeah.
fun. But then that allows you as the entrepreneur to go and focus on other things. Now you can scale the delivery of your program or of your offering. And of course, there's work to do, I think, practically speaking, for the entrepreneur. Once you've developed the system, now you're going to develop your method of oversight, how you do quality control, all that good stuff. But
Yeah.
after that, then it's time to think about, okay, how do we start to apply this same principle to lead generation? So, for instance, it's not unusual for the majority of consultants to grow their businesses through word of mouth. It's great. It doesn't cost much to do that. The only challenge with it is that it's difficult to grow. You can't apply resource or apply capital to word of mouth and make it grow. So I think a really powerful thing for you to think about as you're buying your time back from being in the delivery trap is, okay, how do I start to apply that same thinking to designing a system to create potentially scalable lead flow? What would that look like? How can I create that? Once you're able to do something like that, the beauty is that not only can your business maintain the status quo without you, but to me, the holy grail of entrepreneurship is your business can actually grow without you. So
That
it's a
is.
really powerful way to think about it. And it's so freeing for founders like us who want some time back.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they get into business because they think they're good at something, and then they start it, and then they run into this very issue that you're talking about.
And it's so lonely, and it can be so difficult because, I can totally remember asking myself, what am I missing? Like, am I doing something wrong? Other people seem to have this figured out. Why can't I get this figured out? I'm so grateful for what I have. I feel guilty, that I'm frustrated with what I have. So it can be challenging. I think understanding that it is a trap, that it's really common for those, consulting based or service based entrepreneurs who started because they're good at what they do. I
Mhm.
think that kind of awareness is one of the first ways to get out of it.
Right. And then you also have a program to help with this very thing called Time Management Secrets of High Performing Founders. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this was just so huge. This concept of $100 hour tasks, $1,000 hour tasks, $10,000 hour tasks was so powerful to me. And what I started doing in my business was finding sort of simple, repeatable tasks that I could begin hiring people to do, which built my capacity to focus on higher and higher value tasks. So what I started to do is pay attention, both from my own experience in my own business, and also certainly in the now it's close to thousands of entrepreneurs that I've interviewed. What were the most valuable types of activities driving their growth? So I put it together into a resource called the 10K hour. So the $ 10K hour.com. And what it does is really highlight what are some of the most valuable $10,000 per hour tasks that a founder can do in their company. I'll give you one example: building relationships with high value partners. In the corporate world, we call those sponsors, but entrepreneurs can have sponsors too. These are really high value partners that can open up doors to fantastic opportunity. Very few other people in your company can build these type of partnerships. It's really incumbent on a founder to do it. And it's one of these things that has important, huge long term impacts, but it's almost never urgent. So that's an example of when once you buy your time back, now you can start applying the hours that you are working to $10,000 an hour tasks. So I outline a bunch of $10,000 hour tasks that can really help people just kind of understand a little bit more about where they might benefit from spending their time over and above what they're doing. Because here's the deal: there was a landmark study published in Harvard Business Review. It studied the time management or time use of high performing CEOs, 60,000 hours they analyzed. What blew me away is that of these CEOs, less than 11% of their time was spent doing routine tasks. 89% of their time was focused on exactly the type of high value activities, strategic growth activities that are outlined in that 10K hour report.
So, real quick, could you repeat the name of that website, the 10K Hour?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. So it's www the number 10K hour.com, the 10K hour.com.
And Van had a question about examples of assets. Van, could you unmute and expand on that question a little bit?
Okay. So great question. And definitely creating things like books, writing a book is a fantastic example of an asset. Here are a couple of other things. One of the most powerful, lucrative, valuable assets that a company owner can create is something called a customer journey. So I can remember a couple of years ago, as my company was growing, I had to get a different type of accountant. And I was talking to this accountant, and I was like, and he was really sharing with me. I asked him, look, your most successful entrepreneur clients, and you work with a lot of them. Tell me, there's like, what is one piece of advice based on what you're seeing from these really successful entrepreneur clients who have revenue and net worth? What are they doing? And he said, Eleanor, these entrepreneurs understand that in addition to that thing they sell, the real nature of their company is that they are an internal education company. What that means is that they understood that in order for their companies to have value and produce value outside of themselves, they had to take everything that was up here and make it real, like take it out of their head and put it into the real world. So a very powerful asset that you could create is a customer journey. And a customer journey is basically you're thinking about your clients and you are outlining the entire process of engagement that a customer or client goes through from the moment they first hear about you to the moment they complete their time as a customer or client with you. From there, that's what they're experiencing. Then you have a backstage, which is all the steps your company has to take to fulfill that relationship. And then connected to that, you're going to have standard operating procedures. This is the type of thing that allows your entire company literally to be managed with one spreadsheet. You can onboard people so much more effectively. You understand, exactly how to train people. You're very clear on the customer experience and where there are gaps. And it really allows you also to get a better understanding of your customer's experience so that you can market, sell, and serve them better. So that would be an example of probably one of the most valuable assets an entrepreneur can build that they almost never build.
That is so great. Eleanor, I really appreciate you taking the time to join us today. You've given us so much valuable knowledge, tools, and insight. It's been a real pleasure to have you on, and I hope in the future that you'll join us for one of our full day events. And I just thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yes, it was
Thank
great to
you
have
both
you.
so much. It was a real pleasure to be here.
Wonderful.
We can find more about her on the website.
Yes. So the connectshow.com/Eleanor Beaton is where you can find more about Eleanor and her programs, and we'll put all the links to the 10K hour and her website. And Kim says that it's not on the website right now, but we will fix that very shortly. And right now, we're going to go to a quick networking report with Kim. And
Thank you.
thank you so much, Eleanor.
Hey everybody. Oh, look at this. I got an amazing screen to go with me today. I'm sorry, I was in the chat, so I am flipping to the correct screen right now. I guess Tracy and Jon aren't the only ones with some tech issues today. So good morning, everybody. It's so exciting to see everyone. I'm going to start with my favorite quote, and on the next show, I'm going to have a new networking quote. So if you're not networking, you're not working, from Dennis Waitley. Today, I'm going to highlight a few local networking events to keep you working. So what can you get out of networking? You can make new friends and gain relationships. You can learn from others to advance quicker in your business. And you can enjoy social events and gatherings, whether it's in person or virtual. Both options are really running great out there right now. And you can contribute to help others and gain the reputation of being an expert in your field. And I just scrolled too far too fast. Okay, so the first group that I'm going to talk about today is PWOW, Professional Women of Wisconsin. They have a meeting tonight, actually, and it is on Zoom. So they are currently meeting once a month, fourth Tuesday of the month. And it's a group of women with common interest in creating a network of formal and informal professionals. The person that runs the group, Debbie Curris, really strongly believes that you're not in to collect business cards. You really want to form those relationships and feel good about referring somebody that you've actually met, known, and worked with or heard from in the past. Not just, oh, I know a plumber. Here, I found this business card. You actually kind of feel like you can trust them. And I will put all of these links in the chat at the end also. We like to talk a little bit about local chambers. And so today I'm going to talk about the South Suburban Chamber of Commerce. They are in the Oak Creek area, and but they represent Oak Creek, Franklin, and surrounding communities. Their purpose is to promote the interests of members and enhance the regional business climate, economy, and community. So a lot of what all of us smaller business owners are looking to get. I've heard great things about the Suburban chamber, so I really wanted to focus on them. Um, they say that the chamber membership also increases legislative bargaining power for all of the businesses. So that's pretty cool. Um, Finally, this one kind of goes nationwide, and that is the Happy Neighborhood Project. Um, their mission is to make Happy Neighborhood Project the happiest place in the world for businesses, just like Disney is the happiest place for children. So you can access resources, get referrals, and then once you register for their event, you will get a confirmation Zoom link. They have nationwide events, events by state. They have women's groups. They have multicultural groups. So there is kind of a group for everyone. They're all run a little bit different. So again, that one is the Happy Neighborhood Project. And I will put all of that in the chat so you guys do not have to try to write down what is on the screen. And if you have any questions about any of those groups, definitely feel free to message me, let me know. And if you attend a great networking event or group that I didn't mention today or in previous episodes, add the info to the chat or direct message me and I will look into getting information on them. I'm kind of always on the search for more networking groups. Or if you run a networking group and you want to be featured on an upcoming episode, we are looking to interview some people either live on the show or a pre recorded segment that we can play and really get you guys more active in the networking segment. And because, like Jon and Tracy say, this show is all about you. So I definitely look forward to talking with some of you later. Thank you so much. And it's back to Jon and Tracy.
So much, Kim. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Kim. I really appreciate it. That was a great report as usual. I love what you're doing with the networking report. And I was at a networking event with 80 people, and I think I heard 3 or 4 times people say, I feel like I've done all that there is to do in this area. I wish there was more. And I'm like,
Oh,
do
there's
you
so
know
much more.
do you know Grand Connections? Do you know Epic? Do you know all these things? And they're like, no, I do not.
Yeah.
So we're going to each week bring you different networking events from around the world to expand your network. There we go.
Because we're all about
networking.
the connecting.
Yeah, I love Seth Godin, going back to his quote, your network is the square of the people. The power of your network is the square of the people in it. And that's a fantastic thing to think of how powerful a good network is. So Matt is our next guest. Matt Fox is a business advisor with Cultivate Advisors. And Matt Fox brings nearly 15 years of business expertise to the small business community. Today, Matt works with successful small business owners in North America to grow their business and implement change to achieve stronger results. He works with business owners to become CEO of their company, building out scalable models. We are on a scalable theme today. This is great. In their business for long-term growth. And with that, Matt, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thank you, Jon. Thank you, Tracy. Appreciate it.
Hey, Matt. In the beginning of the show, we asked everybody to share a moment of greatness. What's one moment that you've had this past week or this morning or anything significant that you can think of you'd like to share?
Yeah, so I think the big thing for me is I'm back close to family. We just made a recent move to move across the country and move back home. So that's my moment of greatness.
That's a great moment. You're up in the Door County, correct?
That's correct. Yep.
That's wonderful. My mom lives right up the road from you, so I pass through your town all the
I'll
time.
say hi, Jon.
All right, good. I don't say hi enough, so help me out. That's great. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so my name again is Matt Fox. I'm a business advisor with Cultivate Advisors. Our mission is just to help small business owners take their business to the next level. So the cool thing is I work on a one-on-one approach with business owners to keep them moving forward.
So Okay, so Matt, everything's coming through to the audience correctly, but it's coming through to us a little bit choppy. We have a feed that goes from your feed into another computer that's popping over, that's giving us a little trouble. So
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a question, and we're just going to kind of like let it roll, and
Yeah.
then
I just heard.
Xander's going to yell at me and say it's over, and you should keep going. So
Sounds
go
good.
ahead. That's you, Tracy.
Okay. So what should small business owners be focused on right now, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the best time of year right now for small business owners. And right now, business owners need to be focused on 2022 business planning. What I would ask for all small business owners to look at their business in three lenses. One is the past, the knowledge that you have in the past, the present, what's happening today in the business, and the future, your future vision, right? So that's how I would like to look at the business. But right now, we're approaching quarter four. At the end of the week, Friday starts quarter four. We need to be working on 2022 business plan.
That's awesome. So how should business owners approach their mindset when they're thinking about 2022, they're thinking about what they want to do, but their mindset might not be in the right place? What are some tips for that?
Yeah, great question. So the best approach here for getting your mindset right. So first, just be thinking. Remember, you're the business owner. Your entire team is relying on you. Whether you're a solopreneur and you're focused on the growth of your business, or you have a large team of people, people are focused, or everyone's reliable on your outcome here, right? So the first step, what I would ask is that we take the space to plan for ourselves. So if you can dedicate a couple hours this week while we're still in quarter three, right? So quarter three ends Thursday. Take a few hours and focus on what do I need to do for my business. As we continue to move that forward, I want you to, if you have a team and you have leadership within your organization, that you give them some space to plan as well. Those, I think, are the first two and the biggest things that we need to do as leaders of our companies.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm.
We did or did?
We did.
We did?
Yes.
Okay. So how should business owners approach building their business plan?
All right. So it doesn't all have to happen today. Okay. So as you build your business plan, this should be over the entire fourth quarter. And really, it starts in September. So this is really where I want to spend a little time on because there's different parts of the business planning process that everyone should be focused on. Okay. So the first one, which technically we like to have happen in September, but I'm okay if this happens early October. What we need to be focused on right now, though, is our vision and our long-term goals. And that's like our 3, 5, and 10-year goals for the business. What I don't want us focused on right now is what's going to happen today, what's going to happen by the end of the year. While those are very important, when we're in business planning phase, the vision, and this is where a lot of people really lose where the I guess this is the first stage of that business planning process. So if we think our vision is, I want, we got to be thinking bigger, longer term, our big, hairy, audacious goals, right? So like continue to build this out, your long-term vision. Where do you see the business going? Where do you see it shifting? That's the high level internal thoughts that you need to be having with yourself today. The other piece of that is, okay, in the next year, what do I need to do from a macro goal perspective to stay on pace for my 3, 5, and 10-year goal? So that should already be done. And if not done, I would say in the next 2 weeks, really be focused on having a very clear vision, breaking that down. Ask yourself why 2 or 3 times. Why is this my vision? Why is this important? Why is this important to my customer? And continue to drive that down, and then start working backwards and build out our big goals for next year. In October, this is the month that we're approaching, right? So what we should be focused on right now is our KPIs, our key performance indicators. So as a business owner, whether you're a solopreneur or you have a team of 100, right? You should be building out KPIs that align with your long-term 3, 5, and 10-year vision and what you have to do next year to achieve that. So your KPIs could be sales conversion, if that's like something that you know is going to drive your business forward, that would be a great KPI in your business. I can get into other examples of KPIs, but KPI building happens in October. As we move forward into November, we want to focus on prioritizing how we're going to go to business. And then in December, we need to start implementing. That change has to start in December. If you have a team, you have to start like getting the team on board, showing them what's going to change, what's going to happen different here. And then come January 1, you're off and running. So you don't want to be behind the eight ball going into end of January, early February, and you haven't really explained this to your team yet. You're already missing quarter one of your goals. That's why this has to happen today.
So let's review that. We're talking about creating goals for 2022. First month is KPIs. So we're going to look at our key performance indicators. Give us 3 examples of what KPIs would be for a solopreneur or a small business owner.
Yeah, so I mentioned, I think, the sales conversion process, right? So if you had a lead that generates and looking at like a closed contract or a new client, I think that's a great measurement to say, and even further breaking that out in more detail and saying each step of the sales process or the sales cycle should be a different measurement. And those are things that you can dial in and say, hey, I'm at a 20% conversion from this phase to this phase, but I'm at an 80% from this phase to this phase. You can really dial in what that looks like. Another one is pricing. I love the pricing lever. Like we talk levers a lot because you can say like, I can adjust my pricing based on competition, based on what's happening in my business or the market. That's another good one. A real quick example would be take this back to when you were a young kid and you had a lemonade stand, right? So if you had to sell, let's just say you were going to sell $100,000 of lemonade. How many, and breaking that down, how many cups per day do you need to sell? Mm-hmm. Cups per day is a great measurement, a great KPI. That's an easy one. To say I have to hit $100,000 in a year, that's going to be impossible to think of. But if I have to break that down and say, right, I need a few cups per day.
Mm-hmm. That's a great. So you talked about pricing, and you talked about the sales conversion. You know, one thing I discovered is that a lot of people, when they think of sales, they don't have a lot of the phases. Like I say, you know, how does that sales process work for you? And they'll go through their process. I meet people in a networking group. I have a one-on-one. I get a referral, and then I close it. It's like, where's the discovery phase? Where's the benefit phase? Where's the research phase? All those different phases of what a real sales process looks like. A lot of people don't have those. Do you help people with those processes?
Absolutely. And right, I mean, most people, you fall into your business, you found a passion that you really love, but that sales process isn't clearly defined, or you maybe haven't built that fully out. Absolutely. That's something that we work with all the time.
Yeah, and maybe they just don't know it, and that can happen.
And you don't know what you don't know.
Right? So our KPIs were the sales process, pricing. What's another KPI that we could look at?
Yeah, I would look at maybe depending on the business and the industry, but you could do something even like billable hours. You really, and I want to touch on this if we have time, but we have a little graphic that we have like sales, recruiting, marketing, leadership. Any aspect of your business, you can have a KPI, and depending on how big your team is, right? So if you have a sales lead or a sales manager and you have a marketing manager, as an example, those would be different KPIs that they should measure within their part of the business.
Mm-hmm. That's great stuff. So do we have any questions from the audience?
I don't see any yet.
I don't see any. So Matt, I have one off-the-wall question that I have to ask you. What is one language that you would learn if you could instantly learn a language today? Why would you learn it?
Mine would be Spanish. I took a few years of Spanish growing up, but I never followed through fully. And looking back, I mean, we work with a lot of people, and just the way the world is today, Spanish is a great language to learn. So I would love to be more fluent in Spanish.
Do you have any travel aspirations for any Spanish-speaking country?
Boy. I vacation is my big one. We
Yeah.
love going down to the Mexico area. So
Yeah.
absolutely. I actually not too long ago was in El Paso for some work. Spent a couple of years there, so was very close to that part of the world.
I think we're coming up on the hour, and I just wanted to say thank you so much, Matt. You gave us a lot of really great insight, and of course, we're going to have all of Matt Fox's information at theconnectshow.com/Matt Fox.
And that's already in the chat.
It's already in the chat. Perfect. So thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you,
I
guys.
really appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
You
It was
guys too.
great.
Thank you. Take care,
All
you
right.
guys.
Thank you. So, Tracy, can you give us a reminder about the giveaway?
The giveaway. So somebody did ask in the chat where the most appropriate place to put that would be. I would say LinkedIn. I mean, you could do Facebook also, but LinkedIn is more of the businessy place, so I suggest LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is good.
But just take a screenshot of this event and post it on your LinkedIn page and tag us all, or tag as many people as you can see on this event, or people who might be interested in this event, and use the connectshow.com hashtag.
That is spectacular. And if you want to know of all of our vitamins for the soul, there is a section on our website called Vitamins for the Soul, where you can see all of our current and past things that we have. Next week, we have Sarah Schwab and Jennifer Hensley, and we are going to talk about content creation. These are two content creation experts, and we have a great show. They're both going to be right here in the studio. Tracy, you're going to be up north, but maybe we can talk you into coming down. So that's next week, and we're backwards.
We're over here.
No, we're backwards on the thing. Yeah, I know we're on one, but as far as the order.
I see.
Yeah. So you have to do the like and subscribe thing.
Yes. So please take a chance, or please take a minute to go and like our Facebook pages, our YouTube channels, join our networking, our email subscribe list if you have not already. And if you know of anybody who'd like to be a guest on the show, send them our way. And I think that's it.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate all of you joining us each week. And we appreciate Sandra Huff from Mary Kay Cosmetics. And we really appreciate Kim. Thank you so much for another great networking report. Xander Kling, the X-Man, is on the switch, doing a great job. And David Miller is our producer and operator, rocking the Zoom and the vMix coming in. So we really appreciate all of you for helping us put this show together. And Tracy, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks. It's great.
And with that, we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.